I get shit done, I have fun, it's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking through.
Hello and welcome. I'm excited today. Why? Well, why not be? I'm excited every day. So strategy, system, support, state of mind to kick you in your arse. That's what my guest is going to talk about today. I'm excited that she's able to fit in our show today in her schedule. It's wonderful that Michelle's going to be here. But before I bring her on, I'm going to do my shameless plug for me. So are you a business owner, entrepreneur, sales executive, salesperson, want to be a salesperson? If you have a question under those titles, reach out. Phil@coachphil.ca is my email address. Ask me a question. May not have the answer, but guess what? Because of the Focal Point family, I have a group of great individual people around the world that are also fantastic to talk to. So if I don't have the answer to your question, I can make an introduction to them. And guess what? You don't even need to bring your credit card. You can leave that at home because it's not going to cost you a nickel, not a cent. It's just a conversation. Anyway, if you're watching this live today, thank you for being here. And if you're watching this on a replay, remember #replay and maybe chime in and let us know where you're watching this from. So my guest today has over 20 years of experience in executive coaching, working with clients ranging from 8 figures to solopreneurs. She's run the creative side of her Infusionsoft done-for-you marketing tech services company, helping entrepreneurs set up, maintain their Infusionsoft Keep Max Classic through her company, Awareness Strategies, at awarenessstrategies.com. And I'm going to read some additional stuff because I think she's worthy of me sharing this. Michelle Nedelec believes that there's a better way to do just about everything. I think she really believes that because I get to hang out with her in a foreign country, drinking wine in Portugal and sharing some awesome knowledge and experiences. When she works with you, she's going to help you get out of your own way. She's going to ask you a lot of tough questions and find out what your end game is and what the point of it is. She'll kick you in your arse into next week with the 4 essential goals of strategy, system, support, and state of mind. I can't wait any longer. Let's bring her on. Michelle, welcome.
And the two of us go crazy.
Let's go crazy. Yeah. Like, we met a whole bunch of years ago back in 90-ish, early 90s, somewhere in there, wasn't it?
Maybe. It was definitely turn of the century.
Yeah, turn of the century.
Wow, that sounds really old.
Yeah, and it all came out of hanging out with people in a networking space and getting to know people. But we didn't really get connected until a decade or so later.
Oh, you shunned me. It might have been because I used the word arse. I don't know.
Anyway.
I don't hold it against you, Phil, just so you know.
Well, that's too bad. Because I had a hug with you in Portugal.
Hold my arse against you.
And it was fun.
You know I go downhill real fast.
Yeah,
Don't
I know.
Walk me into that door.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We did have a lot of fun in Portugal. Portugal was awesome.
Yeah, and we learned a bunch of stuff about a bunch of different cool people, right? You and I and Brad and
Mike Wolf
Jackie, who put
Jackie,
the whole thing on for us, and Mike and real estate, and yeah, it was really cool. We should do that.
Dave Albano.
Yes, marketing.
Yeah.
Marketing and more marketing stories.
Marketing.
Yeah, it was really cool.
It sounds like a joke. What happens when you get 10 marketers together in Portugal?
You have a hell of a lot of fun.
Yes, you do.
And you eat sardines.
Well, we ate a lot of sardines, and we stuffed Dave Albano in the back of our little mini Fiat, toured across Spain. And the poor guy felt like a sardine in the back of the car. God, that was fun.
Kidding.
It's like having a clown car with one person. Like, how do you fit back there?
I like how Brad was adaptive to the backing uphill. Because we didn't know it was a one-way going the wrong way. We went the wrong way. He had to back up. It was a narrow lane, and he had to back up and get to the
He
top.
put more miles on that poor little car in reverse than I think we've ever done before. Oh my God. And for the record, there are a lot of one ways the wrong way.
And they're not obvious.
Not obvious though. No.
Right,
you
so-
don't know it until you see the car coming, and then like,
And
no,
oops.
you're in the wrong.
Yeah, when you see 2 or 3 cars coming at you, you know you're the one going the wrong way.
Exactly.
What was cool about that is nobody panicked.
I'm sure they're used to tourists.
Well, no, I meant in our car.
Oh. You contained yourself well, and we expected you to scream, but
No, it was really
you did
good.
well, Phil.
It was funny. I got some really good pictures. I wouldn't have got any other way because I would have been on the other side and I would have had shots of the wall instead of the ocean. So I think Brad did that on purpose, didn't he?
I think so. It was for nostalgia and legacy, for sure.
Hey, we've got somebody watching us. He's all the way from California.
Hi, Gregory.
Thank you for popping in. I hope you were laughing along with us. We might get serious. We might not. We might not. But
I have found that the spontaneity that we bring serves us well in business and in pleasure, so it's all good.
Yeah, like there's a 3-letter F word that I like to have in business.
Telltales.
Fun,
Hey.
right? Well, I shared that picture of me. Oh, do I dare do it in public?
Do it again.
Okay.
Do it again.
Okay,
I'm
I'm going to bring it on. So I was telling Michelle before we came on live that I'm going through a process of upgrading or adding to my coaching skills, and it's going through a company called Positive Intelligence. And one of the exercises they talked about was to get a photo of you in your younger years, 12 or beyond, or not beyond, 12 or less. That's what we want. And is that proper? Yeah, I think that's proper. Anyway, we have essentially 9 saboteurs. The main one is the judge, and it has 9 supporting cast. This younger fellow here is actually me. And we were asked to come up with a photo to talk about, or to remind us about our childhood essence, because that little inner person is still there. And it's talking to us, supporting us sometimes, and holding us back. But if we can get into the state where we get to that essence, we're able to live life in a more joyful sort of state of mind. And we focus on the good in things versus the negativity. Not to say we don't go there, we do, but don't stay there. Bounce back from that, whether it's a victor-victim kind of approach, or if it's this approach. And I found this approach when I look at that and ask these questions. Did you emphasize with your childhood self? Did you look at the photo or think about your PQ reps as a gift of joyfulness? PQ reps is a positive quotient reps that we do to change our state of mind. It really does work, and it's really simple. And then how did you show up, and did you express yourself in a way that you loved and supported yourself? So that's what that picture is all about. And we all have that individual inside of us. Not that one, that's me. Your own.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever posed that way. That's super cute. I can say that every time I even think of that picture.
Cool. You'll be reminding me. Apparently it's raining. Chris is in soggy Virginia. Well, I'm sorry about that. It's not soggy here at all. The leaves are starting to come out in the trees finally.
Although we do have tornado winds happening right here, right now. Almost,
crazy, weren't they? Crazy winds.
We'll help you dry out in Virginia. It'll get there eventually, I promise.
So when I was asking you what's going on in your world and what was one of the things you were stoked about, and your company's growing, right?
Our company is growing, and I was super stoked. We had the most, I got to tell you this because this is hilarious. This is how our company differs from other companies. We're doing interviews, and we are hiring a bunch of people. So we hire people in the tech side of things, and we're hiring people in the creative side of things. And what we're looking for is people with the right attitude that will fit into the company, and we can teach for skill set. So that's our philosophy is we kind of sort of don't care what somebody's background is. We want to know what the background is, but what we really want to know is how do they approach problem solving? How do they approach situations that they can't handle, things like that. So on Thursday, we had 2 interviews. One was for the creative side for the copywriting, and the other was for the tech side for the Infusionsoft text to write the to identify the logic in campaigns and more complex campaigns. So the first interview was with a lovely young lady, and she actually has her master's degree in English, and she's looking for work that's more fun in marketing. And I said, well, why did you decide to go through with your master's in English? And she goes, well, really, there was nothing else to do. That's a lot of dedication to get your master's in English when there's nothing better to do. What were you like? I can't imagine for the life of me going through 8 years of university for something because you have nothing better to do. But she was quite hilarious. Did not, very adventurous, loved traveling, loves meeting people. Just couldn't figure out, based on the options that she had been given, what she wanted to be when she grew up. And I totally related to that. But she is completely dedicated. And she's like, well, you just do what you do and you get the job done. So she's challenging her thesis coming up next week. And she will be an awesome, fabulous fit into the company. Right after that, we had another interview with the tech guy. And Brad goes, well, I'd like to start with your background and your education, go from high school on. And he goes, well, I'm going to stop you right there because I don't have any. I dropped out of high school twice. And it's like, what? He goes, my parents put me into private boarding school to teach me English, and I escaped twice. I went to this gaming room and had so much fun, and I learned English speaking to everybody gaming. And I learned my tech, and I learned my this. And he's super analytical and super a self-proclaimed shy introvert. And he was like the whole time. He was awesome. He was hilarious. I'm like, oh my God, I'm in love with this guy. Camera's off the whole time. He looked like a bat, and he goes, well, I can see you. Okay.
So what I liked about what I heard with those 2 different people was you do hire for attitude, and I'm a big supporter of that. Matter of fact, I've introduced that concept to the people I work with individually or large corporations in their different regions, and they found that that's their MO as well, but having it quantified for them in a way that we demonstrated that to them, taught it to them, has become part of their culture, and was kind of already in their culture already, but it solidifies it. Now they've got a way for their leadership team to teach to the people that they're leading that attitude is first, skills and knowledge can be developed. But if you don't have the attitude, like these 2 people here, they're knowing you and Brad, they sound perfect, and I've never met them. Well, I met Brad, but I haven't met these 2 people. Right?
Exactly. So it'll be a lot of fun. We emphasize culture immensely. Right from the get-go. It's kind of funny. So a lot of entrepreneurs, because I've coached so many entrepreneurs, like, okay, practice what you preach. Let's go do this. So we wrote up our mission statement, our culture statement, our org chart, all this when it was just Brad and I. So there's a whole lot of me, Brad, on this page. It's like, who makes coffee? Me. I don't know. Okay, you can make it at 10 o'clock. I'll make it at 9 o'clock. It was like, but we knew whose job was what. So that when we got out of meetings and things like that, I was like, hey, that's you. So go and decide, and I'm good with whatever you decide. Like, it was, the hard decisions were made ahead of time so that we weren't in the heat of the moment trying to make logical decisions. And that has proven extremely valuable.
Yeah, cool. Speaking of coaching many people for 20 plus years, do you have a favorite? I know you probably had more than one favorite. Was there one favorite one that really speaks to you in that you wouldn't mind talking about?
Favorite client?
Yeah, like you don't have to mention the client, but what you got out of it, where they were at, what were the gains that they achieved?
Oh, we had tons there. I had so many favorites because they were so much fun. It was an interesting dynamic that I had because of the way I worked with my clients. Well, basically, I would work with them and say, when you go on stage, when you get your awards, when you're talking to people, just thank me, just thank Michelle. And they're like, well, that's really weird. Okay. So they would get on stage, get their awards, and they go, I'd like to thank Michelle. And then, of course, afterwards, everybody's like, who's Michelle? She's like, well, this crazy Canadian that you got to go and meet and talk to. And I think just by the relationships that I created with my clients, because we did things in a little different sort of way, they started to come out of their shells and realize that, business wasn't all about being a stuffed shirt. Business is about being whoever you are, whomever that is. And some of them were glorious and glamorous. I worked with a beautiful woman, Rochelle Carrington, out of New York. And as we were working together, she just allowed herself to be herself, and who she was very successful, very well positioned, very proper. She always looked glamorous and to the T. It's like she just walked out of Hollywood, and she just became more and more comfortable in her own skin doing that. And it was okay to do that. And it was fabulous doing that. She was super fun. Another one was Mark McGraw out of Atlanta, Georgia. He was, when we first met, he was doing a successful business. He was rocking it, but he just wanted to be able to take it up a notch and get the accolades and awards, because those were the milestones that said he had helped and touched a lot of people in the community and helped them build their businesses. So the focus was kind of, he felt misplaced in that he didn't really want the awards, but he wanted the things that came with awards. And as he grew and built his business, it became evident that he was all about the community and all about helping them. And anybody that he talked to, their business improved. It was almost like he had the Midas touch. It's super fun to watch. And so many stories like that. I just absolutely adore people getting in touch with who they are and giving themselves permission to do that. And sometimes it means me being able to say arse in public so that they can say bum. And that's okay.
So the Midas touch, is that a Canadian thing?
Canadian thing? I'm pretty sure it's Greek.
I'm just kidding. I'm thinking of Midas mufflers, right? Because they use that in their marketing. And that's a Canadian company, but yeah, so one thing I do know about you, is this is really what gets your heart cranked up with what you do with the people you serve. And when you hear something along the lines of, the reason we chose to work with you is because we felt heard, understood, and were offered solutions that they had probably never heard before, but they made complete sense.
Yes, sir. Even yesterday, I was talking to people about how they set up their tech stack. So in a company, a lot of people will have, they'll have their webinars, they'll have their StreamYard, they'll have their Zoom, they'll have their whatever. And when you're starting in business, you're probably going into business for something other than tech. I'm going to say 90% of people that go into business do it for other reasons than
absolutely
starting tech companies. So when they do that, they still need tech, and you need to know what it is and how it works and all that kind of fun stuff. But in the coaching world, it is evident to me that there are two ways to run your business. One is super simple, where it's just you call people and go, hey, we met at that networking event. You said you might be interested in growing your business. Just wanted to talk to you. What's going on for you? Blah, blah. Oh, great. You're interested. Let's sign up. What's your credit card number? You put it in, and boom, let's meet Wednesdays at 12. Awesome.
I got to ask for a credit card number?
That is a super simple way to run your business. Yeah. And if you're charging 10 grand a person for the year, you have 10 clients and you have 100 grand, life is good. A lot of people don't have $110 or $100,000 income. Like, they just don't. That's fantastic. That's awesome. You can absolutely live your life like that and be perfectly happy doing so. It's 10 hours a week, and you've got all the rest of the week to do whatever you want. You can go fishing, you can go hiking, you can walk your dog, you can do whatever you want. It is a good life. And then there's the other life where you create some complexities. I happen to be one of those people that wants to create a whole lot of complexity in my life. So I want to have 50 employees. I want to have 150 clients. I want to have a whole lot of things, just because I want to prove to myself that I can do that. No other reason. Because a lot of people say, oh, $1 million is my goal. I want to reach $1 million, but they don't think about the profitability of it. So they're running $1 million business, but they're running 1.2 in expenses. Not a good business plan. I'm just saying, don't do that. But it's true. So they don't have that $100,000 income buffer just because they're making $1 million a year, potentially. So to me, it's understanding the actual lifestyle you want to have. That is first and foremost the priority, period. Once you've decided, hey, I want to run a complex business, well, now you have to look at the tech of it, because you can't run a business in the 21st century now without having some tech. Like, we have proven that in last year. You can't run a business right now without Zoom. Now you can if you're a car mechanic, say. They were still running, they were still open, they were still getting their clients coming in, things like that. But with the cars coming in, they now have a whole lot of computer systems and a whole lot of tech that's going on.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't matter what kind of business you have. There's going to be some technology involved in it. So the question is, how do you do that and what do you do? So with that story and that example, a lot of people on the line were like, what do you mean I don't have to run a complex? What do you mean all I have to do is get on the phone and talk to some people? What do you mean all I need is 10 clients? I'm like, if you structure it properly, it is possible. I know, I've done it. And it's also possible to run $1 million business on that simple system. I wouldn't recommend that. That is much more of a headache, but you can. And I know that because I've seen people do it. I've helped people to do it. But there was a lot of, are you sure you want to do it? Are you sure you want to do this? Okay, let's go do this. Let's figure it out. So I know you can run a simple business. I know you can run a complex business. The question is, how do you want to do that? And even yesterday, people are going like, nobody ever said that to me. It's like, of course not, because they're trying to sell you something. I'm not trying to sell you something.
There's truth in that. You made me think a whole bunch of things as you're talking about all that. And where to start? I guess where to start is, I think what happens is people get into business and they have an idea what it's like, but it's a very foggy idea. It's not crystal clear. There's not a burning desire to move them towards it. So they get this idea. I need to know all of the intricacies and all the systems, and I need to know how to absolutely do everything before I actually launch, which is actually asked backwards. We really, what's your thought about having a vision, at least, maybe a mission, for why you're doing the business, and then decide if they're going to be $100,000 if it's a coaching space, 10 clients a year, or, it could be like 5 clients a year, $100,000 each, and you got a $500,000 business, and it's a simple business with lots of time off. Like, your imagination is the biggest nation, and whatever we want our business to be is what I'm hearing you say. But if we start with tech first and having all of having the building built before we actually have a business idea that's solid in our mind. What do you think about that?
I think it's a good way to go broke. You can spend a lot. I was at a meeting yesterday and I said, so I have to blame all of you people because I just adopted a dog from the SPCA. And I expected you people to tell me that I should not have done that. I should have got a puppy, but I didn't. And I blame you. But I can't blame you because I didn't hire. I should have known better, because this is a group of professionals that are almost all like brokers and or advisors and I should have went out and found somebody that would look at my household, like walk into my house and go, okay, what's your lifestyle? Who's here? How often are you doing this, that, and the other thing? How much knowledge about dogs do you have? And do you want to train and blah, blah, blah. And they would have found me the perfect dog. And I would have been, the clouds would have parted. The skies would have, angels would have sang. It would have been awesome. But I didn't do that. And the same thing happens in marketing. People go into their company and they start buying marketing stuff. And all of a sudden, Google and Facebook are chomping at their bank account, gnawing off the walls, and, they're eating your bank account dry. And, you've got this full grown dog that's very not behaved. And it's almost exactly the same thing. So you can take your time to figure out how to tame this marketing beast that you've brought into your house, or you can go out and hire somebody like us, or even just consult with somebody like us and say, hey, this is all the tech stuff I have. And our first question is, what are you trying to achieve? What do you want to make happen in your business? And then,
like
what's that?
That sounds like a vision. Where do you want to go?
What's the game plan here? Like,
Yeah.
what are we
Isn't that
doing?
amazing?
And then we look at the tech and say, okay, this you can put on the back burner and this is fine, because sometimes you can buy tech that you're not ready for and you pay a couple of $100 a month for it and it's sitting there. But when you're ready for it, all of a sudden, bam, you're good to go. Because had you waited, it could have cost 5 times more. I totally get that. And sometimes that is the best money you will ever buy. But it has to fit into that vision of where you want to go, where you want to be. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think it's identifying the gap, where you are today and where you perceive you'd like to be. It could change. That's all right.
That's really cool.
Right?
Yeah, there's a lot of people. In fact, when we used to work with Bob Proctor, he always said, you need to know why you're going into business.
Yeah.
You need to have your why set up. That's just the name of the game. And my conclusion was, you don't need to know because I want to make millions of dollars, because I want to help the world, because I want to. It's like, I don't know. I just have this image in my head that keeps waking me up in the middle of the night saying, go make this thing and get it out to the public. And it could be as, no offense, but stupid as Pongs. And you go out and you make this thing and you have to get it out of your head. That is a totally cool reason to go into business. That's okay. But it's that spontaneous idea. It's that nugget of inspiration. It's that thing that's driving you. And that doesn't mean you need to have a bachelor's degree in business. Like 80% of people that go into business don't have any background in business, let alone a bachelor's degree. And we seem to survive quite nicely. You will figure it out as you go, but that doesn't mean you don't get help. Having support and help of people like Phil that know how to run a business, have the background that you need, can give you that drip knowledge of what you need when you need it, which is far more potent than falling into a sea of knowledge and not having a clue of what you need when.
Yeah. And to that point, whether it's you, me, or anybody else in the coaching space, if they fit with who you're about, and you follow what they're recommending in their environment from what you're looking for every dollar invested, you'll get $5 to $7 for everyone in if you do the work. It's much easier and quicker than trying to do it all by yourself. I don't know about you, Michelle, but I know I have half a dozen coaches, some more regular than others, and some are in a mentorship role, but I have them.
Mm-hmm.
Because trying to do this by myself is it's too hard.
Well, and a lot of times I don't think people understand the difference between a coach and a mentor. And a mentor could be a coach for their full-time occupation.
Yep.
The difference to me between a coach and a mentor is a mentor has done it, been there, bought the t-shirt.
Right.
They may not know how to tell you how to get what they've got, but they will tell you what they've done. And that can be worth its weight in gold. A coach's job is to be able to help you get clarity on what you are going through in that moment so that you can become all that you can become from an internal perspective. And it's a much more organic experience and much less confined to the reality of what is and what has been. So to me, both are extremely important, and don't get caught up in the mentors. This is what I did, therefore that's what I have to do. That's totally not true. In fact, the rules of the game changed so much that, in fact, what they did might be more of a detriment to you than what you want to do. And sometimes just getting the permission to do what you want to do is far more important.
Yeah.
Like one fun thing I'll tell you, I as a marketer, okay, so if I'm going through this, I'm going to guess nickels to dimes that you're going through this too, is trying to figure out and productize what we offer. So in the digital world, you have to niche down. You have to know who you're selling what to so that you can get to their pain points so that you can attract their attention. And you can work with everybody as long as you're breathing. That's great. But according to the pain points, you have to figure out who's not breathing. And they go, hey, we got something for you because you're not breathing. Right. So you've just eliminated 98% of your population, but that's okay because those people need you right now. So we're trying to figure out how to do that. And as an Infusionsoft done for you service company, all my advisors are telling me, nobody cares how you do what you do. They don't care what the instrument is. They don't care what your back end toolkit is. They just want to know how you're going to help them. And I kept arguing, everybody that comes to us is coming to us because they have Infusionsoft and they're calling it Confusionsoft, and they don't know how to do it, and it's really hard to use, and it's all these things. And I'm like, I know it is. It is a very complex system. Just because you know how to drive a Honda Civic and get from home to work and back again doesn't mean you know how to drive an 18-wheeler. Yes, it's got a steering wheel. Yes, it's got a brake and a gas. But there's a whole lot of complexity to that. And there isn't a truck driver out there. Well, if you want to run a trucking company, you shouldn't be driving your own trucks.
Or
so
fixing
them. Or fixing them. You should be hiring out that to somebody who just wants to drive a truck and they have their Class 1 license. It's a totally different game. So I finally found somebody who gave me permission. Seems really weird that I would ask anybody for permission to do anything, but found him. And he goes, okay, so what you're saying to me is you help people with their Infusionsoft. Yes. In fact, you're an expert in Infusionsoft, and people who are Infusionsoft certified will go to you, well, not me, Brad, to fix their problems. Yes. How many people in the world do that? Maybe 3, maybe 5 of us. Okay, so that's really the thing. Yes, this is really the thing. So if somebody has Infusionsoft and their person is either incompetent or innocent, I'll say, like they just don't know what they don't know, or they're inconsistent, meaning they've ghosted you or they've left or they've done it and it's awesome, but they're going on mat leave, whatever. You need somebody to take care of your Infusionsoft. We are the perfect fit for you because that's what we do. Or if you have a lot of tech complexity and you have what I like to call Frankenware, then we will simplify your systems for you so that you can go and do the thing that you love to do, that you're good at, and we just get the job done for you.
So it's interesting you say you needed permission to do that, because I saw that in you already, you as a company, because it is Confusionsoft. I looked at it and I'm confused and I don't use it. And that doesn't mean it's not any good. It actually is really good.
It's phenomenal.
But it is very confusing. And you also need to know where you're going. You need to have a vision. And you need to have somebody help you put in the pieces so when different things happen with that environment, that you're leveraging the tool to keep the information content marketing story going. So that's not my thing. Absolutely not. I hate that stuff. Even with the system I have somebody I rely on say, how do I do a campaign? And I want to do this survey. Can you help me do this? And
then they go, okay, what are your questions? Who is your audience? They are in a receiving or an asking relationship. So that you can get an assistant and say, I want to get all this stuff off my plate, and you give them stuff, and then they have to figure out how to do it and how to learn how to do it. It's a very expensive way to run your business.
Yeah.
Or you can hire somebody that knows exactly what they need to do, and you say, I want to organize my desk. So you hire an organizer, and they say, they come in and they ask you questions, and they say, okay, I need this from you. I need that from you, so that you can give them those things, and it becomes so much easier. And then all of a sudden, voila, your desk is organized, your office space is clean, and you're like, oh my God, and I know where stuff is. I know how to use this. This is amazing. It's not that somebody just came and threw out all your stuff and your desk was clean, because that's not a good solution. It's one way to clean up your desk, but it's not the best way, right? So you want to hire somebody that knows what questions to ask of you, because there's nothing people hate more than, one, trying to figure out how to write an email. I know I need to write an email, but I don't know what to say. I don't know where to start. I don't like doing this at all. Awesome. I know I need to put out this quiz, but I don't know, is that a WordPress thing? Is that an Infusionsoft thing? Do I have to buy other software that does quizzes? Like, I don't know. So you hire somebody like us to go, okay, here's how we're going to do it. We need the info from it. So this is, we have a plan. We understand the back end, why you would want to do each one of those 3 things. And we can assess based on your requirements which way is the best one of those 3 to make it happen. So it becomes, at first blush, it looks more expensive to hire professionals, but they take less time to do things. So you may pay us $500 as opposed to paying a VA $1,000 to eventually figure it out 2 months from now.
Or you muddle through it on your own, and you're not leveraging your skill set as the entrepreneur,
so it takes you
because you want to save a nickel. And if you looked at how much money, where you value yourself on an hourly basis, and compare it to what the investment is for a VA or a tech support company like yours, or a coach, or whatever the resources you need, you're probably losing money. Not probably, you are
You
losing
are
money.
losing money.
And you get it. And not only that, there's only so many hours in a day and so many years in a life. Do you have enough time to learn everything? Brian Tracy has taught me there's never enough time in a lifetime to start from ground zero. So why not leverage other people's knowledge and information and expertise to help you accelerate where you want to go and reduce the stress of doing the stuff you don't like doing? Even Sarah Blakely, do you remember her?
No.
She invented something called Spanx. I don't
Oh,
wear them,
yes. Sure.
but
Yes.
I love her
She's
story.
awesome.
She started off with $5,000 and the ability to get through doors and prospect and all sorts of things. I could talk to her about her for an hour.
Right.
But the premise is that she did everything she had to do to get the company started, out of her living room, $5,000 and a vision. And as soon as she could get to a place where she could afford people that would do the things she hated to do, wasn't good at, so she could go do what she was passionate about, was really good at, she did that. And as a result of it, she's recently sold her business. She was a billionaire already, where she grew it from 5,000 to a billion. And she's now still in the company, I understand, but has sold it off. And it all came from hiring. She even hired a CEO at one point in time because that wasn't what she's good at. She was good at selling and promoting and doing that. So that's what she did.
Well, yeah. I mean, you look at that business and you go, she had a vision of what she wanted.
Yeah.
It didn't mean that she was an expert in plasticity or, elasticity or any of that. Like all of that had to go to engineers. All of that had to go to other people that knew what the heck they were doing to be able to create the image that she wanted for it. So it's a perfect example of, she could have hired some kid next door and said, hey, can you go figure out the elasticity and plasticity of these different materials? It's like that never would have worked. Like she would have been there forever.
Funny story about her and an experience of me. In the early days when I started my business and this business in the early 90s, I was invited to a networking event by a friend of mine who's since has passed away, but was mainly women. I think it was one other guy and me, and it was a women's networking group. And this keynote speaker was talking about womanly things, pantyhose and gussets, and they hang around your knees and they don't go up where they're supposed to. And I never forgot that. And I was reminded about it in Sarah's story, because I've taken her master class. And she was on a mission to try and find somebody to help her manufacture these things, because all of her selling activities had got her into one of the well-known stores, and they were going to test market it. So now they needed a bigger volume of product that she was able to produce. So she went back to the guys that she learned from or was relying on. He said, we need to up this order. And they said, well, we just thought this was a pipe dream. We didn't think you were really going to make this happen. We don't have the resources to do that. We need to have somebody help us manufacture the gussets. And Sarah's going, gussets? What the hell's a gusset?
That was a gusset.
So anyway, she went on a mission and found out what they were, found somebody that built that piece of the product, gave it to these guys, and they built it, and that's where she went with her story. And that took me back to the networking event where I heard about gussets and pantyhose.
And she's also very awesome in that, talking about the engineers and plasticity and elasticity. And then she had this brainwave of, it's almost the same as nylons. Like they're creating nylon, so why not just go back to them? So you get those epiphanies in business that they happen out of necessity. So I guess one of my biggest comments to all of this is, I get it if you don't have a business degree. I get it. And a lot of people have business degrees, think they're useless anyway. So, leave that for what it is. But if you're finding yourself challenged by business, and you're like, oh my God, I just don't get how to do this stuff. That frustration is completely okay, because it's in those moments that you usually have the epiphanies of, hey, what if I just blank? And that becomes the genius that helps you catapult your business. So don't be afraid of those frustrating moments, because oftentimes they are the catalyst that you need.
Cool. So earlier on, I popped up your address. So it's on to LinkedIn and Facebook. And while we were talking, because I didn't want to interrupt the conversation, I'm just looking at the clock. I try to keep it to 30 minutes.
We have to pay attention to the clock?
Yeah, I do.
So much fun, though.
I know. We were having a great time. So I hate to end it. I'm going to, though.
Okay.
And on that, is there one last parting note that you would like to share with our audience?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Hire us to do your tech because it's a waste of time. Don't do that. I'm kidding. It doesn't have to be us, but seriously look at somebody who loves to do it, because our tech team loves to do the tech. They don't just like it a little bit. They are enamored by doing it. Remember that whole personality thing of, do you love tech? Do you love solving problems? Do you love puzzles? Do you love figuring? They love that stuff. Go find somebody like that to do the stuff that you hate to do, whether it's your accounting, your tech, your organization, your anything.
Can you do me a
Your
favor?
business a lot more fun. Yes.
This is live, and I forgot to put something in. You had a place for people to go. If you'll type it in the yes, if you put it in the private chat, I can copy paste it and put it in the banner so we have it in the show. And then that way, anybody who wants to take advantage of your offer can have access to it. I knew there was something I forgot to do.
Awesome, no worries. So I would love to give you a website audit. And what that is it's about a 36 to 44 page report based on how big your website is. And you get red lights, yellow lights, and green lights, just like traffic lights. So your green lights are things that you're doing right. That's awesome. Keep doing it. You're getting a lot of traffic. Life is good. The flow, traffic, good. Yellow light is things that are slowing down your traffic, things that you probably don't want to be doing, things like broken links, backlinks, all that kind of fun jazz. You want to go and look at those. Things that are red lights are stopping your traffic. Google is not allowing anybody to go and see that site because you're doing something absolutely wrong according to them. Things that 10 years ago were best in practice are now quote unquote illegal in the Google world. So they will stop your page from being seen. And sometimes they'll put up big red flags saying, hey, this is dangerous. Don't go here, even though it's not really. So it's an awesome report. You can give it to your peeps to go and do. If you're confused by it, you can set up a strategy session with me and I'll go through it. And again, even if you're giving it to your peeps to go and do, we'll record the session. You can give it to them. I'm totally cool with that. Or if you're going like, I just don't want to do this crap anymore. What does it take to work with you? We'll see if we're a good fit. If we are, great. If we're not, I have a ton of resources in the marketing industry and we'll refer you to somebody that's perfect for you.
Can't ask for more than that, I don't think.
All right.
No, I don't think so. I think that's great. It's a great offer. Thank you for making that available to anybody who's watching this now or tomorrow.
My pleasure.
Hang around for a bit, but thanks for being here. And that was fun. I don't want it to end, but it's gonna end.
Just keep giggling. As long as you're giggling throughout the day, it'll last and last and last. So
we got a thank you from a Facebook user. I'm not sure who they are. Thank you, Facebook user. I hope you enjoyed what you heard, and maybe we helped you laugh a little bit on Friday. Maybe we gave you some ideas that you can use in your business and help you wherever you're going, however that shows up. So thank you for being here, everybody. Michelle, thank you. And hang around because you're awesome. Okay, so that was fun, wasn't it? I thought so. And just before we go, though, I want to do a couple of things, and that is this. I want to get you to remember that you are actually wonderful. And where this came from was a fellow by the name of Leland Val Vanderwall, somebody who had mentored me a whole bunch of years ago when I was off on this journey of figuring out who I is and what I want to be when I grow up. By the way, I'm still figuring that out, and actually like the space I'm in, but I'm still figuring some stuff out. Life is a journey after all. So the you in wonderful is deliberate because it reminds me to remind you of you. So be your unique, wonderful self. So thanks for being here today and watching the show. And let me get rid of it because we don't want to be staring at that the whole time. Do we? Nah. Anyway, thanks again for being here. It was a treat to have Michelle here. She's hilarious. That's the way she is every time I've run into her.
I get shit done, I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking